combat piracy together. We have immediate tasks that we must get about determining. These shared interests give India and the United States a very strong incentive to make sure that the regional architecture for the Asia-Pacific is up to answering the questions and delivering results. President Obama looks forward to joining Prime Minister Singh at the East Asia Summit later in the year, this fall, in Indonesia. We want to work with India and all of our friends and allies to build the East Asia Summit into the Asia-Pacific's premier forum for dealing with political and security issues. We want to use it to help set our priorities and lay out a vision for other regional institutions. At this year's upcoming summit, the United States intends to collaborate with India and others to help advance an East Asia Summit agenda that draws on our two countries' unique capacities. And high on this list should be maritime security, including developing multilateral mechanisms of cooperation. The East Asia Summit should also focus on disaster readiness, response and relief, and nonproliferation, including working toward a denuclearized Korean peninsula. Now, later this week, Foreign Minister Krishna and I will attend the ASEAN Regional Forum, and we will there be working in conjunction with ASEAN partners and others, and we will soon inaugurate a trilateral U.S.-India-Japan dialogue. America's treaty alliances with Japan has long been a cornerstone of security in East Asia. And as a fellow democracy with us and India, we believe enhanced cooperation will be beneficial. We are also committed to a strong, constructive relationship among India, the United States, and China. Now, we know this will not always be easy. There are important matters on which we all disagree, one with the other, but we do have significant areas of common interest. We could begin by focusing on violent extremism, which threatens people in all of our countries. Ultimately, if we want to address, manage, or solve some of the most pressing issues of the 21st century, India, China, and the United States will have to coordinate our efforts. As India takes on a larger role throughout the Asia-Pacific, it does have increasing responsibilities, including the duty to speak out against violations of universal human rights. For example, we recognize that India has important strategic interests in maintaining a peaceful border and strong economic ties with Burma. But the Burmese government's treatment of its own people continues to be deplorable. So it was a signal moment when Foreign Secretary Rao met with Aung San Suu Kyi last month. And I hope New Delhi will continue to encourage the Burmese government to engage in dialogue with Aung San Suu Kyi and also to release other political prisoners. In all of these areas, India's leadership will help to shape positively the future of the Asia-Pacific. That's why the United States supports India's Look East policy, and we encourage India not just to look east, but to engage east and act east as well. Because after all, India, like the United States, where we look to the Atlantic and to the Pacific, India also looks both east and west, and its leadership in South and Central Asia is critically important. For example, India's diverse democratic system in which people of all faiths and backgrounds participate equally can serve as a model for Sri Lanka as it pursues political reconciliation. Here in Chennai, we can see how much a society can achieve when all citizens fully are participating in the political and economic life of their country. Every citizen of Sri Lanka deserves the same hope and opportunity for a better future. India also has a great commitment to improving relations with Bangladesh. And that is important because regional solutions will be necessary on energy shortages, water sharing, and the fight against terrorists. And in Nepal, as the latest deadline for concluding the peace process and promulgating a new constitution approaches, Indian support for that process is critical. And in the Maldives, India is providing important economic assistance and partnerships to improve ports and other infrastructure. Looking north in Central Asian states like Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, India has forged new partnerships on energy, agriculture, cybersecurity, and other areas. Because India and the United States share an interest in helping the people of this entire region build strong democratic societies and market economies, and to resolve long festering conflicts. And of course, the conflict in Afghanistan continues to be a major challenge for us both. I want to be very clear. The United States is committed to Afghanistan and to the region. We will be there. Yes, we are beginning to withdraw combat troops and transfer responsibility for security to the Afghan people, a process that will be completed in 2014, but drawing down our troops is not the same as leaving or disengaging. We and the Afghans are making progress on a new strategic partnership declaration that will define our relationship after 2014. And through that partnership, we will continue to assist the Afghan army and police and the Afghan government. And we will do everything we can to help the Afghan people rebuild after decades of war. At the same time, we are pursuing an active diplomatic effort with all the countries in the region toward two goals. First, a responsible political solution in Afghanistan, and second, stronger economic ties through South and Central Asia so that goods, capital, and people can flow more easily across borders. Representatives from Afghanistan and all their neighbors will have the chance to discuss this vision at a summit hosted by Turkey this November. And they will discuss it again with the rest of the international community at the Bonn conference in December. How do we get from where we are to where we, and especially the Afghan people, need to end up? In February, I gave a speech at the Asia Society in New York explaining our support for Afghan-led efforts to reach a political solution, to end the insurgency, and to chart a more secure, prosperous, and peaceful future. As we have said many times, there are unambiguous red lines for reconciliation with insurgents. India has pioneered some of this work over years of effort in bringing people into the political system and taking them out of the forests or out of insurgencies. Number one, people must renounce violence. Number two, the Taliban must abandon their alliance